Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a while. Um, Life has really been lifing. Um, some exciting things have happened to me and my family since I last posted, and I will tell you all about that testimony later. But today, specifically, I want to talk about disobedience. And the reason why I want to talk about disobedience is because it is something that I have been struggling with my whole life, and it's come into a head. And I'm starting to realize that a lot of my struggles could be prevented had I been obedient. And an example of that is just by the Lord asking me to do something. And I literally tell him, I'm not doing that. Who about to do that? I'm not doing that. And it's literally a war. It's a fight. Um, Specifically, and this is just me being transparent, I am a worship leader and I'm an intercessory prayer leader. Now, I always wanted to sing. I've been singing my whole life. And when I'm dealing with pain or anytime I've dealt with pain, singing is what I would go to. Um, Over the years now, of course, I sing worship music. When I was younger, it was secular music. But worship is one of the ways that I spend time with the Lord. I call out to Him, I pour out to Him, and He pours into me. And when I'm not worshiping, there's a disconnect. Or if I don't feel like it, there's a disconnect and I feel distant from the Lord. And we have to get out of the mindset of, oh, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I have too much to do. We have to stop saying those things because the Lord wasn't too tired to wake you up this morning. He wasn't too tired to provide the need for you when you were crying and you were pleading before Him to make a way. And He says that obedience is better than sacrifice. And when He says obedience is better than sacrifice, you have to know you are going to make some sacrifices. Your time is a sacrifice. What you choose to do. We all get 24 hours in a day, but you have to plan out your day accordingly. Take at least an hour or two. When you wake up right before bed, you make that time to spend with Him before you get into your daily task. And if you have to get up early to do so, you just have to get up early to do so. I get up at 5. I make my husband breakfast. I send him off between 5:30 to 7. That is my time with the Lord. At 7 o'clock, I am going to get my kids. So you have to make time to spend with Him. And if you're not doing that, you're going to feel distant. And then when you start feeling the distance, it's like you feel his tugging. And He's telling you to come back, but you don't want to come back because you're too busy trying to do your own thing. And at the same time, you're struggling and you want to know why it is that you're struggling. You're struggling is because He's asking you to come spend time with Him and you worried about everything else. And you cannot do that. I struggled with disobedience for a long time because I thought I could go to war with God. I can't go to war with God. You can go to war with Him, but you're not going to win. But me being young and naive, I did not know this. Um, and now I am 34 years young, and I'm still learning that when God asks us to do things, it's not always about us. It could be about someone else. And He's just been working on me. And He recently told me that I can be very critical and I need to learn to be merciful. And, I asked, well, how do I be more merciful, you know, with people? Because my face says anything before my mouth says anything. And I feel like at times I'm Peter. But I also feel like at times I'm David, where I'm after God's own heart each and every single day. And I just want to seek Him in spirit and truth, but I also want to be obedient. And it reminds me of Paul, where he says we do things that we ought not to do. And we know that we shouldn't do them. So when God asks me to do something, I know that I shouldn't say out of my mouth, I ain't doing that. Who doing it? I shouldn't say those things out of my mouth, because that goes against Him. That goes against His word. And with the position that I'm in, I carry the burden of the church, that I have to be open to what it is that He's saying, because my deliverance could be through my act of obedience. Somebody else's deliverance could be through your simple act of obedience. So get out of the mindset that you're too tired, that you don't feel like it. You have other things to do, because your breakthrough could be in your obedience. And I'm telling you all because I know, I just felt led to talk about that. And I do want to read a scripture. In the scripture, this is the NIV version, and it's 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once your obedience is complete. To me, that scripture says that whenever the enemy plants it in your mind, or fear rises up against you, that you speak life, you speak against it, so that you can do what God has called you to do. One of my prayers that I now pray is, Lord, help me to be willingly, joyfully obedient in what it is that you would have me to do. I thank you all for listening. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day.